I will make sure I'm quick because I know lunch is right after me. I'll show you this before I start my talk. So my talk is going to be a little different than, there's another slide that's come up afterwards. There we go. So I'm going to talk a little bit different about why I'm here. Most people talk about the programs they're building. I will talk a little bit about betterU, but I want to talk about myself first because I think it's relevant to understand where I come from in order to understand why am I here. A lot of people don't understand why I'm in India, but I do want to explain this a little more. So I came up with an idea. Something wrong with the presentation. I'll just talk. Came up with an idea many years ago on how to make a difference in the world. And I'm a serial entrepreneur, so I have built many companies over the years. I am an author. I've built a company in the education field, another one before this. I built a company with Disney and Marvel, Nickelodeon, grew that into a global company. And then I realized when I was in China in 2008 that the world had a huge problem with education. And I'm going to talk about my past so you understand how my past has led to today. I came up with the idea that if I can build access to better education around the world, it could create, it's not working. I can go with it. Better education can lead to a better job can lead to a better life. But ultimately it had to start with the better you, yourself, right? Creating a better you. So you understand where I come from. I grew up on welfare in Canada. I'm a Canadian, born and raised in the capital city of Canada. There we go. Let's see if we can move. Pressing the back button. Technology. This is Canada here for those who have never been to Canada. It's a beautiful country. Most people don't realize that how nice it actually is, but most people also don't realize that most Canadians do come from privilege. I did not. I grew up very poor. Left home when I was very young. In school, I struggled. I wasn't an individual. I don't have a university degree. I didn't go to college. I struggled all through my life with education, and I felt dumb in school. And the reason I felt dumb, and there was a comment made this morning which I really appreciated, teach the student, not the content. And what I realized was I thought differently from most people in school. Even today, I think much bigger than most people, and that's probably why I became so successful as an entrepreneur, is because I do think differently. But I left home when I was 16 years old, so I've been on my own a very long time. And this picture depicts what I used to do. I used to garbage pick when I was young. And I'm sharing this with you not because I want pity. I want you to understand where my roots came from, to understand where I am today and what got me here today. And my talk is about skills, and I'll get to that in a second. So my ambitions didn't match my resume. And what's important with education, which most people don't I seem to understand, is a resume is only as good as the person who can deliver on that resume. I know so many people in India, I know so many people back in Canada, great resumes, PhDs, but they can't get a job. And they can't get a job because they don't have the fundamental skills that are required to do that job. In India, there are many people that graduate every single year that have fantastic degrees. The resume looks great, but they can't get a job. And that's a significant problem. So I'm here to talk about how what I did and what I'm building, how can help them advance their career. So I wanted to get into the business world. And the problem was my resume, I could never get a job in the business world because I didn't have a university and college degree. So I actually worked in many jobs. And these are all of them right here. I was a chambermaid at a hotel. I cleaned toilets in a hotel. It's a very difficult job, I must say. I have a whole new appreciation for that staff. I was a cook, I was a cleaner. I did all these jobs that you see on this picture. There's nothing wrong with it, but I had to make a living. I had to support myself growing up, and I had entrepreneurial skills, so I was always thinking of ways to be a better person. Whoops, go back one. So what it led to me becoming is an entrepreneur. Because I couldn't find a job, I had to create my own. From an education perspective, at a very young age, what's important for educators in this room is the skills that someone learns. In elementary school, high school, all the way up, grade 6, grade 7, it's absolutely critical that the students are taught stuff like entrepreneurial skills, creative skills, problem solving, time management skills to be on time with such things as presentations, things like that. This is me talking at a conference in Ottawa. It was TICOM, which is an entrepreneur conference. And I wrote a book. This book is right here on some of these tables that talk about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. So I always told myself, if I build more than one company that has been successful, I will write a book and share it with other individuals who also need to understand the skills it takes to become an entrepreneur. India's in a unique situation. You have lots and lots and lots and lots of people, not enough jobs. So what do? Just like me, create jobs. You create your own employment, which leads to other jobs. These are shows that featured me, that talked about who I was as an entrepreneur, just examples of some of the companies I built. I do, and I have spent a lot of time in India. This is my 33rd trip over the last 4.5 years. Back in 2008, when I decided to focus on a country to solve the mass education problem, my vision was how do we provide access to education to everybody, from kindergarten all the way up to senior citizens and everything in between. And the goal was how do we provide access to education from Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3, all the way out to rural areas. And how do we do that? And I realized that the only way that we can do that is to provide access from everybody around the world. So I've been spending years traveling around the world, the last 5 years to be exact, meeting with educators all over the world. Now, when you look at what the skills that are required for people today, you gotta look at what's going on in the environment. For kids, it's very important that as teachers, you understand what's going on in the industry. These are all sector skill councils designed to help skill up the current problem that's in the industry. There are a lot of industries that require a lot of skills, a lot of jobs that need individuals that are skilled. So we need to be training individuals today that are young into the skills that are required for the jobs that exist. I've spent many years looking at educators. I've been traveling around the world, Australia, New Zealand, UK, Ireland, talking with educators just like yourself to get them to realize that the only way that we can solve this mass education problem, and it's not just India, it's other emerging markets, it's Canada, it's everywhere, is to bring educators all together into one system. We now have today over 20,000 programs that we've built, brought in partnerships from 9 different countries, specifically for India. Most of you don't know who we are because we're still building. We're putting everything in place, and it's taken us years and lots of our own money to make this come to fruition. We have lots of partners working with corporations who are demanding that people have the right skills. So we're also building systems to do that. This is our model to understand what we're building. We are an education to employment marketplace. And what I mean by a marketplace is it's a place where people can go to find whatever they need. Education, I was so glad to hear some of the talks earlier today. Online education and technology is here. People are debating, is it good, is it not good? It's irrelevant. It is absolutely irrelevant. The only way countries like India are going to be able to skill up the mass population that's growing every day is through technology. It's the only way. There's not enough brick and mortar facilities. There's not enough qualified teachers. It's impossible Online education brings education from the top educators around the world, including from within India, to everybody in India. It's about education and delivery and access to it. So our model is work around the world to bring educators together. Bring all education from all different sectors and all different depths and levels of education together into one system, and then mass market it through some of our partners. We've partnered with Hindustan Times and Times of India. They're both shareholders in our company. And then outreach, not only to Tier 1 and the skills development, but K-12 and also into rural areas through facilitated education. Now, a lot of rural areas don't have access to technology or understand how to use it, but why not bring the facilitators into those areas to do that? So we've been spending time on how to solve that problem as well. Every area of education, no matter what level you are, is complicated. There are so many breadth and depth of required education. There's not one educator in this world, not one educator in this room that can provide access to education for everybody, for everything. It's impossible. The only way we can do it is by working together as a collective, collaborative environment, and that's what we're building. We've been working on a lot of different systems, and my talk here is about global skills development. We've been building a skills development system that it hasn't launched yet, but it's going to launch. I thought I'd show it to you soon, which is taking the national occupational standards of every single industry defined by India, automating it, aligning it with education and the breadth and depth of courses that we have, and expanding on that. So for example, if you're in this room and you're looking for a particular job, you go and select the job, select the occupation, drill down onto the roles and responsibilities, the education, the skills that you need. An assessment will happen. Then a recommendation engine would then pop out all the courses that you need to take from multiple providers all over the world, individualizing the learning that you require to complete the skill gap that's missing and advance you in that area. So this slide has been a true inspiration to me for what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Because thank you. Because I realized many, many years ago when I first thought about this problem, and that the only way it was going to get solved, and there's a lot of educators, and all of you are doing a phenomenal job, I don't want to take away from that, but I'm thinking a lot bigger. I'm thinking about educating nations and taking this globally, and everybody, not leaving anybody behind. And I realized that the only way to do that was I would have to do it, and I would have to talk about why I'm doing it to people, and get people to understand who I am and what my company represents and the purpose and passion that we have. You must be the change that you wish to see in the world. So I decided I will be that change, and I will keep building it for my team, for my family, for all of you, for all the families here, so that India can be the educational workforce and the world can unite together in one educational platform. Thank you. If you are interested, the book that I wrote, it was selling across Canada for many years. I will be happy to send you a digital copy. I only brought 20-something copies here. They're very heavy to bring. But send me an email. I will send you a book. My book talks about my upbringing. It also talks about why I built what I built. And it also gives what it takes to be an entrepreneur, the skills that you need, the things that you need to understand, and most importantly, things that you need to teach children as they're growing up, that you need to have these skills, because a degree will not get you a job. And unless you're an entrepreneur or have entrepreneurial skills, or the skills that can lead to an entrepreneur, it won't solve the problem that we have today here in India. There's a lot of people that have graduated, a lot more that are graduating. There's not enough jobs. You've got to think outside the box. Create more entrepreneurs, and create more jobs. It'll solve a lot of problems. Enjoy your lunch. It's now coming up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. This is the moment from our side to you. Big round of applause, please. So,